Hi, it's Majo John Madden, broadcasting from what I'm guessing was at one point the town square of this little town of El Diamante. It's got all the earmarks of a town square, the wrought iron benches around the sides, the very much in disrepair and obvious disuse playground. It's the first playground I've seen in this little town, which the sign I just saw as we were walking back in towards the center of town said population 483, El Diamante. Paradoxically, it's on a very busy road, the Carretera. And Carretera, I once thought referred to a particular road, but it really means an interstate highway, something that I think has federal construction goes on to maintain it. And most of them that I've been on, several of them I've been on, have been dangerous to drive on with suspension like my car has, because they have lots of potholes and lots of rolling places and lots of bumps you don't expect. I want to talk about what it is that makes us feel safe or unsafe in the world. Now, this town, way out of the way in Mexico, is a sleepy little community like some of the ones we were in Appalachia. First year of the COVID, me and my dog Pancho spent a year roaming around the high mountains of Appalachia and came to feel extraordinarily safe up there in general. I did have my moments of not feeling safe. When the week after George Floyd was killed, I did daily Facebook live streams from the town square in Burnsville, which is a hybrid of the old Appalachia, but a lot of infusion of people moving up from the cities. But I got threats up there from people I didn't know, certainly not Facebook friends of mine. And I ended up a couple days later having what clearly to me was a kind of semi-paranoid episode where we had gone near there and were parked in a state or local park that was not being used and actually gated, but it was easy for me to get in. And I was setting up camp there for me and my dog. And put up a little Facebook post about where I was and what I was doing. And then shortly thereafter thought, you just got threats in that neighboring town about what you were saying about race. And you just put up on Facebook your exact location. And I didn't stay. I ended up driving actually all night back to Asheville, which was my safety zone, my comfort zone, Asheville, North Carolina. It's been a long time since I've had any kind of episode like that. In my own sense in the world has been safer and safer, even though I've had some difficult moments since then. I've been punched in the face and in Asheville, North Carolina. I was hit pretty hard, sent flying through the air outside of Chicago in the town I used to live in that I always thought of as safe. I had in the northwest side of Chicago, which is all white, I had a guy pull a gun on me for taking shelter from the rain under his porch, big, very high porch, screaming at me that he would shoot me if I didn't get out of there. So I've had those unsafe moments, but overall my feeling in the world has gotten safer and safer. But what I'm noticing is that how safe you feel is a very, very individual process. It's shaped by what thoughts you're thinking, by who you talked to most recently. In this little town, I'm sure there's no local newspaper and probably no Facebook page here in central Mexico. But the guy, the Don, the patriarch of the clan at the restaurant where we hang out, which are wonderful people, lovely people, and he's a very cool guy. But when I told him I've been walking on these back roads over here, he used, he only speaks Spanish, so obviously it's hit or miss as to whether I'm actually understanding him. But he did use the word peligroso, like he thought that was a dangerous thing to do. And they're so quiet and so rural and so sweet. And the local beaches near here. This is an area, no place we've been in 3.5 months has there been international tourists. So the beaches near here, nowhere near any big city, I'm looking forward to sampling. And a couple of people said, yeah, they're really lovely, you'll love them. But that same guy said to me, cuidado, be careful. And he did a stabbing motion, like you could get stabbed down there. I'm pretty ready to write off what he says. But in that same restaurant today, I had a talk with a really savvy guy, the first native English speaker I've encountered in my 3.5 months here. And he's from Belize, which I never knew there was a Latin American country that had British origins, and where English is the language. So I got to talking with him, and he's a guy who, his business for the last 20 years has been buying cars in the U.S. and bringing them across the border and down into other Central American countries to sell them. And when I said to him, gee, all the places I've been out here have felt really safe, he indicated, well, you're driving a very old camper van. You don't have anything that looks appealing to bandits. And he had had an experience just a couple weeks before with a convoy of several other people who were working for him, each pulling 1 or 2 cars to sell. And they were intercepted by bandits with machine guns who took several of the cars, including the people's personal vehicles, and did threaten them with machine guns. I think that's probably the main reason that my own sense of what is real and what's not real, because I've been saying on Facebook and elsewhere that traveling in Mexico is really safe, because regular people don't have guns. But I guess there are some non-law-abiding people who have guns. So this same area where I felt so incredibly safe to walk just Friday morning, and this is Sunday evening, I had a sense of foreboding the whole time and still can't shake it even now. Right down to the fact, like, why is my camera misbehaving? It's not bright like it's supposed to be. It could be that it's not functioning well. There are some things wrong with this iPhone, and it had overheated in my shoulder bag, so that's probably the reason. I don't think it's that my vision is failing. In a wonderful little town, Arroyo. No, that's not quite right. There was a wonderful, very charming little town off the beaten path where we spent a couple of days. But on one of the side roads there, I noticed that the guy had barbed wire around his porch. And when I asked him in my best Spanish, why would you have barbed wire around your front porch? He didn't answer, and he obviously regarded me quite suspiciously after that. And then back here on this road, I noticed that people were very clearly locking their gate after their friends entered. How do we ever figure it out? The best I can come up with is it's uniquely personal. It has to do with what thoughts you're thinking and who you're talking to. And it keeps changing. It can change on a dime.